I wanted to come up with a recipe for National Brownie Day, so I wanted to come up with the perfect brownie recipe. But when I started to do this in the test kitchen with all of our buddies, we started to it was really divisive on whether people liked a fudgy or a cakey brownie, so I decided to come up with the perfect recipe for both a fudgy and a cakey brownie. So we're gonna do both. So we're gonna start out here with the double boiler. I just have some gently heated water with a little bit of a glass bowl on top. Stick of butter. We have 8 ounces of chocolate. And we have 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And the reason I put the sugar in with the butter and the chocolate chips is because the sugar melts, and then when it combines with the egg white and the batter, it makes that crispy, like crackly topping on the brownie.
Yeah, that little extra crispy topping.
Yeah, that's how you get that super crispy top.
So then it all comes together like this.
Yeah, I'm gonna add in 2 eggs.
You want me to whisk that or stir it?
Whisk that up.
Gotcha.
Give it a nice, like, kind of vigorous whisk. You want to combine, like, the egg with the chocolate, because there's a ton of fat in there, and that you really want to make sure that you combine everything and make a nice, smooth batter. And whenever I cook anything with chocolate, I always add a little bit of espresso powder. We're going to use this in both the fudgy and the cakey. And now we're going to start whisking in our dry ingredients. So I have 3/4 of a cup of flour, and we'll just start whisking that in. There we go.
Yeah.
A little bit of salt. And for our leavener, we're only going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. That's all you need for this.
Because you want these really dense.
You want them nice and dense, right.
Right.
So we keep on whisking. Look at that.
We're whisked. It's done.
All right, so then over here I have a glass pan. I lined it with some parchment paper, and I actually use these little binder clips because it makes it stick on there better.
That's clever.
I know. Look at that thick batter. That looks beautiful. And you say you can't bake. Instead of going from the oven onto the countertop to cool them down, we're going to cool them down in the fridge because that's going to stop the cooking time.
It's like cold shocking your pasta.
Exactly,
Right.
and they get nice and fudgy. They're almost like fudge. Look at those guys. And we have some right here.
Cold shocking your blanched vegetables, cold shocking anything.
Check those out. It's almost like eating fudge. You can like hear the moistness in them. We're making our basic cakey brownie recipe now, and we're basically using all of the same ingredients. We're just gonna change the ratios up a little bit. So we actually cut our butter in half. Instead of 8 tablespoons, we're gonna use 4.
Oh, so these are the diet brownies.
That was really bad math. It's actually 6 tablespoons. So we used 8 tablespoons last time, now we're using 6 tablespoons.
Not really a diet.
Yeah, no, not at all. Sugar stayed the same, 3/4 of a cup, and we're cutting the chocolate in half, so instead of 8 ounces, we're using 4. But we do the same process. We just melted it down in this bowl until it's nice and smooth. Now you can start adding that into our wet batter. Yeah, I would love that.
Slow, fast, medium?
Yeah, let's do medium. There we go. I forgot to add in our eggs. But the really great...
The wheels are coming off the brownie bus.
Listen, the great thing about this recipe...
He forgot the eggs!
It's extremely forgiving. So even if you like do it in the wrong order, it'll probably work.
It'll probably work.
We don't know. And also, we're going to add more leavener to this batter, but also to give it a little more like air and to get that rise like you want in a cakey brownie.
Switch up from the whisk to the electric mixer.
I pull out my power tools.
Salt?
A little bit of salt, yep. Instead of
espresso.
A little bit of espresso.
That's our secret ingredient.
That's our secret. Not so secret anymore.
And more of our baking.
Baking powder,
Right.
So instead of 1/2 teaspoon, we put in a whole teaspoon. And then we're also going to add in a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So we're going to get that extra rise. And this batter is kind of funny because it looks super, super thick. But since it has all of that leavener in there, once you bake it, it becomes nice and puffy.
It really puffs up.
So then you pop this into the oven. This one actually cooks for 5 minutes longer than the fudgy recipe does.
Gotcha.
So 350 for about 30 minutes. We have one down here that's done. Look at that. And the reason we use this parchment is so you can just kind of wiggle it out of there. Oops. And look at those cakey brownies.